He's like, well, do you feel like you need to go back to go forward? And I'm like, well, yeah, isn't that what this is what you came for? Ain't me. Like, I thought that's what I came for, so I'm confused. And then she said, I don't know if you realize this, but throughout all the stuff you're doing right now in your lifetime, like you are continuously working through trauma. Anyways, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Kyrie Rashid Show. So glad that you decided to come back for more. So, what's up? Another week, another variation of my hair. So, this week, I was trying to go for more a Afro vibe, but it's not giving Angela Davis. I don't think, at least. What y'all think? So I don't know if I'm a fan because it's giving shaped at the bottom, but remember I did cut a bob, so my top is longer, so that part just be falling down and staying in a nice little circle. I mean, I think I got it in a circle right now. Throw that ass in a circle. I don't know. So we just trial and error. Yeah, I didn't finger coil this week, but there isn't like as much definition in my curls, just like a little bit here and there. So I think I'm gonna try something else next week. This time maybe different product variation. My hair is like very moisturized. It takes moisture very well. So yeah, that's the other part in hair series. I don't know if you can tell, but my face is swollen, and that's why I'm holding the mic closer to my mouth today. I don't know if that's better or worse because I just got my wisdom teeth taken out yesterday, and I learned so much about wisdom teeth. Apparently, I had 4 of them. I got holes in my mouth now. Apparently, since it's like a surgery for real, like you need somebody to drop you off and pick you up. So I didn't know that. hmm I didn't have none of those fun videos. Like my anesthesia wasn't giving like what everybody else gave, like loopy and stuff. No, I got right the fuck up, and it like I was alive again. There was nothing funny, for me at least. What else did I learn? I learned hydrocortisone. No, that's the other one. Hydrocodone. One of them is actual opioid, so I can't be driving when I'm taking that. It don't really hurt right now. It's just swollen and like opening my mouth wide. Pause. It's not. It doesn't give, and it's like got some yogurt. You know, I chewed on some stuff yesterday, but I'm just like, what am I supposed to eat with these holes in my mouth? I think 2 of my low key, because I got stitches, right? Low key, I think the top 2 dissolved already. So I don't know what that's about. But those are my updates. Today, I'd like to talk about trauma, but like the growth through trauma, growing. I'm trying to think. It'll come to me. But basically, just like living life, working through that trauma. And like a lot of these episodes, they are inspired by therapy. So, what happened was I went to therapy on Sunday, and I've been talking. I'm like, listen, like, what are we really working on? I think I seen Jordan on Sunday as well, and I'm like, yeah, I don't like. What am I working on? You know what I'm saying? Like, I have no idea. And when I went in there, she like, oh, how's your week? Whatever, like, you know how it goes. Or maybe you don't, but like, oh, how's your week? So I told her about the week, and then I was like, so what are we working on? And she's like, well, it's really whatever you want it to be. And then she started kind of going to like, not fully termination, but she said with her other client, she kind of brought up termination. It was like, hold on, like I'm not ready to end it. It's just like I'm just trying to figure out what we're working on. She's like, oh, well, we don't have to end it. Like we can dial it back a lot more, right? So I don't know if we recall, I went through a stint where I was off of it for like 2 months, and then I came back on, and I was doing every other week. And then for some reason, I just feel like she wanted me to be there. So also my mouth feels like it's moving weird. It's gonna be interesting to watch back. Anyways, so I feel like she kind of canoodled her way back into getting me coming every week because I didn't necessarily ask for that. Like it just like felt like she just kept booking me every week, even though I started every other week. So there's that. And she was like, "Yeah, we dialed it back, and there's like a plan for whatever." And I go, "Okay, you know, I'm just like trying to figure it out because as far as like trauma goes, like what's going on." And she's like, "Well, do you feel like you need to go back to go forward?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, isn't that what this is what you came for? Ain't me?" Like I thought that's what I came for, so I'm confused. And then she said, "I don't know if you realize this, but throughout all the stuff you're doing right now in your lifetime, like you are continuously working through trauma. And I need you to stop thinking stuff as a checklist. Like, oh, my mom, check. No, regardless of what's going to happen, like stuff is always going to come up with your mom." And I go, she kind of ate with that checklist stuff because that is how my brain has been thinking. It's like, okay, we need to talk about this, we need to talk about this, we need to talk about this, and we have to like, there has to be a huge moment of like woosah, you know what I'm saying? And throughout this whole time, which I feel like it's been like, I don't know how long I've been seeing this lady for, like a year. I think like a year. And I've had like one real like cry and, you know, real deep time, I feel like. And maybe that's all I needed. I don't know. But or maybe I just have like this weird thing about what therapy's supposed to be, but it's just like I'm like, yeah, what's going on with that part? Because that only happened like one time. It ain't happened again though. So what is that about? And I do remember when I first started, like I was more reserved to talk about stuff, but because I just felt like we had to get to it. I don't know. And then she said, "I also want you to realize that when you started, everything that you said you wanted to do, you've done it." I said, "What?" Say you wanted to get an apartment, you got an apartment. You said you wanted to uh, provide new experiences and make new friends. Like you're starting to make new friends and you're going on these trips and doing these different experiences and putting yourself out there with different people to afford yourself that. And I'm like, what? You might have ate with that. And she's like, so through that, I believe that also is you healing that trauma from childhood as well. I'm like, what? Listen, I don't want to say it was too much of a revelation. I don't want to, I don't know. It just doesn't feel that deep. But I say, you know what? You might have a point there. And she did clock me on the, bitch, it's not a checklist. You don't just get to check off the stuff and the trauma in your life and then it's done once you check it off like a to-do list. And I said, oh, okay. My fault, my fault. And I said, okay, I feel that. I feel that. But I also feel that in my life, right now in this current moment, it's been like, regular conflict, regular ups and downs going on, but nothing really just like, sock it to me. Like nothing's done that as of late. So I just don't know what's going on. And she goes, well, what if that's what it's supposed to be right now? Like, what if you're not supposed to go through a huge hardship or not supposed to be bracing for a huge boulder to be getting thrown at you because all your life you've had to brace for that stuff and you've always braced for huge hard events and tried to over prepare for that, but right now you don't have to do that. Maybe it's just little pebbles, you trip over them here and there. And I said, okay, okay, analogy, okay. She might have ate with that one. I said, okay, okay, Lord, so maybe you don't want me to be bracing for boulders because I'm not trying to do that either. So maybe I just need to have a different perspective. I said, okay. So what do we do about that? She's like, well, if you want to scale it back. And I said, listen, I'm not trying to quit because if I quit, I just feel like I'm never going to come back if I quit. And I don't know if that's probably just a me thing, but because I did come back afterwards, but I felt like I really needed it. Versus like this time, I don't know, I've transcended to just being in this space, being in this place, like settling into this new life I'm creating for myself. To where I'm like, I'm cool. Like it just felt like I was going there for check-ins. I wasn't doing no deep doo doo work. It wasn't given that. You know what I'm saying? So um, I've switched now, and now we're gonna scale it back, and now we're gonna go back to every 2 weeks. Okay? And she's like, sometimes maybe you just don't have something to say every once a week, and even if you scale it back, you can always call and try to you know schedule if you need me at any time. Like trying to just telling me that it's not all or nothing type of vibe, and I'm an all or nothing type of girl. Like, okay, I'm in it. So I'm like, okay, we can start with every 2 weeks now because that's where I was at in the beginning, and we'll see what happens. I'm anticipating me scaling it back to like once a month, but I could be wrong. I don't know. That's me bracing for contact. Okay, but it just really, I don't know. It kind of opened up my eyes a little bit. I'm like, hold on, so I might actually be doing some shit. I feel like a chipmunk. Alvin! Like, I might actually be out here healing for real. I ain't even know it. The other part I was trying to say is like, I think I did say it because she brought up events. So I said, I don't feel like, when they say you leave and you just feel like you ain't put none of the stuff into practice. And she brought up that person again, like, they want to be able to put stuff into practice. And for me, she said there has been instances, for instance, with certain men or even in my friendships and having certain conversations that I have put things into practice. But in my head, I'm sitting here like, you know, because I said with men, right? But in my head, I'm like, romantically, it really hasn't been put into practice. Like, I ain't had a a real life runner in the race to where I really got to put that stuff into practice. And I mean, she can't control, nor can I control, like, when that's going to happen. And then she brought up, little people who was in the race, but they wasn't real runners. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't real runners. They didn't have the goggles. They didn't have the little water tube backpack. They didn't have the real hokas. They wasn't real runners. They was in the back. They was trying to, catch up. And she brought them up. She's like, well, you kind of put them into practice. I'm like, but they wasn't really in the running to be America's Next Top Model. They were never in the running. It was entertainment. But it's like, bitch, what I'm gonna do if and when there becomes somebody who's really in the running? That's what I'm like bracing for. And I guess I can't prepare for that. So that's what I'm thinking about. It's like I really ain't had to do that. Or my life has changed, but as far as like me changing and adding another job onto the job I have now, or shit, I don't know. The Lord might put basketball back in my life. I don't know if He does, but like that type of shift and change that I've always been anticipating this whole time. I just feel like big life events have happened, okay, but like big life events. So she's like, and then you can always add more if you need to. If you need me, you can add it. If you don't need me as much, that's fine as well. And I'm like, okay. So basically, you're saying it's really not that deep. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But then that's how I took it to make me be like, okay. So it's really fine. It's like, okay, right now I don't need as much. But it's interesting to even say that. So now what? It's interesting to even say that I'm in a place right now where I feel like I don't need as much therapy or even I don't know. Just to even acknowledge the fact that everything that I said I was going to do, that I've done it, that's pretty cray cray. Because, yeah, I've been doing a lot of shit, man. I'm doing a lot of shit. I got a lot of trips coming up. I'm literally finna go to Houston in like, what, now it's like a week and a half? Or maybe it's still like 2 weeks. Finna go to Houston. Then I'm finna go to Phoenix for the Final Four with people I ain't never traveled with before. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to Houston by myself. Um, Never really done that before. I don't be counting flying overseas as doing it by myself. I was going to do a job. I'm not going to do a job. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going for leisure and to see Lulu. And then I'm going home in June. And then, like, even me just going to coffee shops or going to dance classes or getting a library card and sign up for the library to find different spaces. I'm like, wow, okay, okay, period, period. And I'm like, I'm gonna go to a Nuggets game. I'm gonna go to a different dance class. So not the dance studio I've been going to a different studio, trying that out. I'm like, damn, you really doing some shit. I should be signing up for it. Be signing up, trying to get myself in a different area, different space. So I'm like, okay, maybe you is doing it and doing it and doing it well. Doing it and doing it and doing it well. Maybe you is. For real, you is. For real, you is. Um, and maybe just like so now with just like the brace for contact or the brace for something to happen all the time, I'm always gonna be prepared. I've got to be prepared, and that's the trauma that I just gotta be prepared just in case. Mind you, the world is a disaster. They finna go to war. We in war. We not even finna. We in war. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a hella shit going on. And then within hella shit going on, you still like trying to live your life, and within living my life, there is hella going on, but in a positive way, in a beautiful way, with a beautiful chocolate man. Y'all see Scary Movie 6 is coming out? I might have to watch that. I don't know. Or even like trying out new friendships and them not really working out either. It's something else as well. So yeah, I'm just, I guess, realizing through action how much trauma I've been working through without realizing it. I just feel like I just set goals and live my life, and that's just the way it is. Things will never be the same. That's just the way it is, way it is. Oh yeah. You know, sometimes you just gotta take a step back, and I feel like therapy just had me take a little step back and be like, bitch, hold on, you actually been doing shit. Even though it's not in your brain checking off. But even in saying that, I still feel like there's always more work to be done, and like the deepness I could get into, I feel like. But maybe I can't get into it until I crack that romantic code. So we just gotta stay tuned, for real. We gotta stay tuned on what's really happening. So I have a question. How's therapy been going for you? Have you set out to do some stuff and then had to look back and be like, oh, bitch, like, I really did that. I really did that. Are you a brace for contact type of person? Or you just let it flow, let it go? It is what it is. I'm out here willy nilly. If you bracing for contact, you bracing for something negative to happen, and it's not really happening. Um, I don't know. For as much as I'm like really self aware, some stuff just don't be computing in my head either. So I just like, damn, it's crazy you actually said that. Do I have any other questions? Anybody got any other like short hair tips? I mean, we see it's growing, but I'm just trying to figure it out. Like, I be following girls on TikTok and they got the little teeny weeny afro with the curl, definition. I still ain't figured it out yet, but it's been what, like a month since I've had my hair out, so I still be rocking it. Is anybody rocking their hair out like this? The sun is out longer. Is anybody happy about that? I'm just bullshitting. I really don't got nothing else to say. Anyways, this has been another episode of the Kyrie Karashi Show. So glad you decided to come back for more. Get at me. Next time you see me, I won't be Alvin no more.